Oh man, I forgot to say it too. Gotta make sure we do that. We should be good to go. Y'all know what to do. Shout out to the gang in the building. We're looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And I have to welcome y'all, man. Welcome y'all to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. And we are going to get into it. Guys, this show is going to be one of the craziest shows we've done yet. I know. That's hard to believe, but this one's going to be insane. We're going to talk about an artist who had a dead body found in his car. If y'all haven't heard about that, there's some breaking news there thanks to Amy. We're going to talk about Donna Adelson. She's trying to get a new trial. It's crazy up in here. And then, of course, we got more news and more updates about the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin and some of the things that are going on behind the scenes with the whole Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. But before we get into that, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. Let me see who we got in here. We got everybody up in this thing. I missed y'all yesterday, man. I'm not gonna lie. We had some things we had to get figured out, but we're back in here ready to go as usual. So thank y'all who showed up yesterday. I know I have to give a special thank you to Slim Life, J Money, and Les Cleaver. I saw y'all super chats on the show yesterday as well. I don't know if they're still gonna show up. Unfortunately, I think YouTube might have erased them after a day, but I'll go back and see if I can find them in there. Thank y'all for the love and support. But first, shout out to my awesome, amazing Amy in here in the building. First thing, reminding y'all to like the video. We got J Money, we got Les Cleaver, we got Just Saying with Alicia, who always shares the video over on X. I appreciate you. We got Kelly Berg is up in this thing. Spring Flowers is in here. Shout out to all the members, man. We got Slim Life Taco Tuesday is in the building. Virginia Wiley, good to see you. We got, who else? I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Trisha's in here. We've got Tatum is back at it. And we've got Eric is in the building. Eric Chamblin is up in here as well. All right. If y'all haven't yet, you know I ask. I have one thing to ask on this channel. And it's the only thing I ask for on this channel. And that is that you all like the video. Okay. Likes are free. It really helps the channel continue to grow. Lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show. It shares this video, this live stream, and the entire channel with more people. So thank you to everyone who's done that so far. 1,300 of you have already liked the video. So thank you for the love and support. I know it's free and it's easy to do, but it really does help out a ton. All right. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. The link to share is on the actual YouTube video itself. You just have to click share. And there's also an arrow that's pointing and curved to the right. You can click that and share to Instagram, Facebook, X. You can even share it in your group chat via text. So let them know you're going to be hanging out here. Some people are going to come after the live stream is over and watch the replay too. So also shout out to the replay gang as well. I want to give a special shout out to those of y'all who drop super chats too. I think I actually am able to see them now. Shout out to Les Cleaver. He gifted 5 memberships in here. All right. Thank you to Les Cleaver for gifting the memberships. If you got a membership from Les Cleaver, y'all go ahead and type thank you, Les, in the chat. Shout out to Les Cleaver, always supporting. And if you got a membership, your name's going to be highlighted in green. You'll get an opportunity to check out the members only content that we have here on the channel. And you get instant access to all the videos we drop on the channel as well. So thank you to Les Cleaver for showing support. He also says in here, it's hump day because it was yesterday. So shout out to everyone who is celebrating hump day. And now it's Friday Eve. He says, smile. We're halfway through the week. May the Lord bless you and keep you smiling and loved and most of all safe. Love one another as God loves you. Amen. All right. Shout out to Les Cleaver. We've got J Money, the big dog, in here with the 10 bomb. He says, just wanted to show some love and support for ClassE and Amy for all their work on putting two incredible shows for us all to enjoy. Please like the video. Likes are free. Love to the CEB fam. Shout out to the big dog, J Money. Thank you. We've got Slim Life New Jersey in here. She dropped a 10 bomb on Tuesday over on the Cash App or on PayPal. And then she dropped a $5 super chat yesterday. She says, good morning, ClassE and CEB gang. Have a blessed day. And in case no one told you today, you're amazing, you're brave, you're beautiful, and God loves you. Amen. CPE in here, just dropping the 5 bomb to show some love. Thank you, CPE. We also have Jay Money. He upgraded his membership. He is now a diamond member right here on the ClassE YouTube channel. Thank you, Jay Money. We've got Kelly Berg is in the building as well. Let me see. I might actually be able to see this one. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Shout out to Kelly Berg. What does she say? She says, morning all. I find it sad that I am having to be more cautious and nervous about going out to my car at 5 a.m. for work in the dark. The USA needs peace. Yeah, and don't let them. Be cautious, and having a heightened awareness is always a plus, in my opinion. As someone who is overly, has an overly, I don't know how to say this. I'm almost dang near paranoid. So Kelly Berg, I get it. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of scary things happening. Just be cautious, be aware of what's going on, be aware of your surroundings, and I think you'll be fine. All right. Shout out to Amy in here. The awesome, amazing Amy says she gifted 5 memberships. Again, check out the members only content. Make sure you say thank you to Amy if you got a membership as well. All right. Amy in here always showing love and support first thing in the morning. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate you. We have a question in the chat. Should we start out with the question? And thank you to everyone who's in here too. How would the roommate/boyfriend remember the etched bullets, but would never ask any questions of why he was etching the bullets and what he'd use them for? We're going to get into that shortly. Shout out to the Honorable Kel Bell is in the building as well. We're going to get into all of that shortly because a lot of you heard the press conference that was done yesterday or over the past couple of days. You've seen the news that's come out about Tyler Robinson, the alleged Charlie Kirk assassin. So we've got some more updates for you on that. We've got some breaking news this morning when it comes to Tyler Robinson. We're hearing more news and more updates about all of that. And we're going to get into the text messages specifically between Tyler Robinson and his, as Caitlin said, boyfriend/girlfriend. I don't know how that works. But yeah. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get into it. Again, if y'all haven't yet, please make sure you like the video on your way in, and we'll go ahead and get started because we have a ton to get into. This one, if you haven't heard this story about what's going on with the singer David, get ready for this because this story is absolutely insane. All right. So shout out to Amy for breaking this news and dropping it over on X. Again, if you don't follow Amy on X, make sure you do that at IAMYLEIGH on X. The link to her X account will be in the chat and will be in the description. What is going on here? Singer David has a tattoo matching the body of a girl found in his Tesla. What? Yes, you read that right. What does Amy say? Singer David has a tattoo on his finger with the letters shh, and the young girl's body found in his Tesla has the same tattoo. Yes. Hey, let's go ahead and get into the story because we've got some breaking news here in this story. Just broke about a couple hours ago from TMZ. So what happened with this singer David? Now we have the LAPD searching his home near the site of the abandoned Tesla. Items are seized. We're going to give you guys a background on this. All right. The case involving a chopped up teen found in a Tesla belonging to singer David is intensifying. Yes, you heard that right. Los Angeles police searched the home in the affluent neighborhood where the car was abandoned. According to ABC7, a swarm of police officers spent several hours at a Hollywood Hills home Wednesday night and seized a computer, among other items, from the residence. For the moment, it is unclear whether the evidence is connected to David's Tesla. As TMZ reported, the decomposed and dismembered body of the girl found in the front trunk of the Tesla owned by David has been identified as Celeste Rivas. Wow, that's so sad. The Tesla was abandoned in the Hollywood Hills neighborhood and was impounded 2 weeks ago. An odor emanating from the vehicle in a Hollywood tow yard prompted the discovery of the body in the car on September 8th. If you have a body in your car, why? Why would you let it sit in the tow yard? I mean, was he just hoping? I don't know what was going on here. Again, we don't know what went down in this situation. I mean, somebody could have just thought that was a good place to dump the body. But again, there's a lot of extenuating circumstances leading up to this that caused you to believe David was involved. What could that be? TMZ got a tip last week that Celeste was the victim, and we contacted her mother. The mother said Celeste had a boyfriend named David. Oh. And she was suspicious because police had said the victim had a tattoo on her right index finger. The mother said her daughter had the same tattoo. When we then contacted LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and gave them the mom's name and phone number. So look at TMZ solving crimes out here. That is amazing. And some of y'all were asking about where were the parents in this? Well, the parents apparently, they listened to the daughter. The daughter said, hey, I have a boyfriend named David. He said, oh, that's nice, honey. And they went on about their day. Yikes. TMZ discovered David also has a tattoo on his right index finger. David canceled his show in Seattle Wednesday night. We believe he flew to LA Wednesday morning. Okay, well, let's see what happened initially. Let's go back. So we're going to rewind a little bit so you guys can get an idea of what's going down with this case. David and the victim have matching tattoos. So what happened here? The singer David has a tattoo on his finger with the letter sh, and the young girl's body found in his Tesla has the same tattoo on his finger. As TMZ reported, the body has now been identified as 15-year-old. You heard that right. Yes. Celeste. Authorities said she had a tattoo on her index finger with the letters SHHH ... David's tattoo is also on his right index finger, and she had been missing since, does this say how long she had been missing for? She was last seen last April 5th. And she hadn't even turned, oh my gosh. So she would have just turned 15. She was 13 at the time she went missing. She was about to turn 14. Oh man. TMZ spoke with the Celeste moms last week, and she told us about her daughter's tattoo, adding it was in red ink. The mom says Celeste had been missing for more than a year, but she was suspicious of the Tesla discovery because she said Celeste's boyfriend's name was David. We're going to get into TMZ reporting here shortly. TMZ contacted LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division and forwarded the contacting information for Celeste's mom. And there's a picture of the tattoo on Rihanna. I don't know what that's about. The tattoo is not unique. Rihanna popularized it when she put the tattoo on her right index finger back in 2008. Lindsay Lohan, Lily Allen, and others have the same tattoo. As for David, we looked at photos back in April through the beginning of August 2024, and he did not have the tattoo. Guys, this is not looking good for David. The first photo where you see the tattoo on David is from September of last year, which is 4 months after Celeste disappeared. This ain't great. David has been on tour for a while and has been in LA for more than a month. Police have not revealed who was driving the Tesla before it was left at the Hollywood Street and impounded on September 5th. The vehicle had not been reported stolen. Police have not said if they have a suspect. We reached out to David's rep, who said they did not want to interfere with the ongoing police investigation, so they would not comment. Let's hear from TMZ. What the heck is going on here? This is insane.
A lot to get to today.
Jeez.
We have been telling you about a body parts found in the trunk of a Tesla owned by the singer David. We now know who the victim is in this case, and there are a lot of twists and turns.
Yes, the victim, as it turns out, is a 15-year-old girl named Celeste Rivas. And Celeste Rivas had gone missing about a year ago. Now, how we got that information that she had gone missing
insane.
Came just days after police reported finding the body parts in this Tesla. So we should say that this girl apparently had either run away or disappeared.
Yes.
Like you said, it was a year ago, April. So the police have identified her, but here's one of the twists. Last Wednesday, right after the car was found,
right,
we got a tip
David
that
was 20,
this
I believe.
body may be that of Celeste's. We got in touch with Celeste's mother, and the mother
so
told
sad,
us,
man.
because what the police had come out with was that the girl had a tattoo on her right index finger
Right.
that said S.
Even before they could find out her name,
Right.
they obviously had the body parts and they released some information.
And it was on her index finger. It said SHHH with 3 dots or 4 dots, and that's all we knew. The mother told us that my daughter had
David
a
was
tattoo
cooked.
on her right index finger that said the same thing, and that the tattoo, she told us, in fact, Anakin, she only spoke Spanish, so Anakin spoke to her.
She did.
And she said that she had a boyfriend.
That's right. That she had a boyfriend and his name was David. And the mother never
That
really
is
got in
not
contact
good.
with David. Like she never saw him.
She didn't
none of
know who
that,
the
but
David
she
was.
had heard of him. And it seemed like the last time that she had seen her daughter was when she had gone out with David.
I want to know again, I am not blaming the parents at all. So let me be clear about that. I want to know how long the parents knew their 13-year-old daughter had a boyfriend named David and didn't see this guy once. I mean, she was 13 years old, still a baby. Come on, man. Y'all.
So we called LAPD robbery homicide, and we gave them the information. We gave them the mother's phone number. We gave them her name, obviously, and also told the detective that she had told us about the tattoo. We added the fact that it was red, which they hadn't.
Right, so they hadn't said that. They had not
disclosed.
released that information.
And the detective was, poker faced, or
That's what they have to do.
and just said,
Right.
"Thank you very much," and that was it until today, when they now have identified the girl as the girl who is the girl of that woman.
Right, the daughter of that woman.
Right,
So
the daughter.
there's another twist with that tattoo.
Yes.
A very interesting one in some photos that we found of David.
Correct.
Now, we should say that David has been on tour during all of this. He
Hasn't canceled any of his shows.
had
Until
not.
until his one tonight.
Had not.
Tonight.
Had been on a tour, and in fact, just last night performed in Seattle. And police had they have not named him a person of interest, not named him a suspect. They just know that the car belongs to him. Now, the photos that we found of David and a tattoo that he has
This
is
is not
very,
looking
very
good.
interesting.
So we found photos from last September where he has on his pointer finger of his right hand
The same finger as hers.
The same exact finger, the exact same tattoo. It's in black, so it's not red ink, but
Y'all believe in coincidences? I've never seen this tattoo before. And I've definitely been following Rihanna since 2008. I don't remember seeing or hearing about this tattoo specifically.
and I do want to be fair. Obviously, we're not insinuating anything here. The tattoo it was very popular though.
It's a tattoo that Rihanna made popular in 2008.
2008.
And a bunch of
SHHH. Lindsay
dot,
Lohan had
a bunch
one.
of celebrities.
Yeah.
A ton of people get it because you do this, so it makes sense why it would be on that finger. But it is interesting that he has the exact same tattoo.
The LAPD Homicide Division is investigating this case. They still have not said it's a murder.
Deep.
Correct. Meaning that
Well,
they don't know the cause of death. Obviously, yes, the body was dismembered and was, where the parts were in a bag that was in the Tesla, but they don't know what the cause of death is.
And we don't want to seem...
And again, this is an ongoing investigation, as David's rep said. So we're going to find out more information about this situation. I mean, we don't know how close David was to where this car was taken at the time. He may have an alibi. We don't know what the cause of death was. Again, would it be a coincidence that she and David share a tattoo and her mom said she had a boyfriend named David and she disappears? Yeah, I'm kind of not buying that as a coincidence. All right. I don't really believe in coincidences anyway. But with that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean David was the one that, deleted her. So we'll still have to wait and see.
dumb to you guys that we're saying, well, people are saying, of course it's a murder. I mean, theoretically, it could be a body where somebody died and then they did it after the fact, which would not be murder. But we don't know.
The part that, why would you do that?
Right.
Right. If someone fell down the stairs and broke their neck in an accident, why would you dismember the body?
Right. So that's what we know right now.
Yes. And then, so the latest thing about David, as we said, police have not named him, but we do know that he canceled for the first time since all of this has been going on. He canceled a show. He had another one scheduled in Seattle tonight, but venues.
It was weird to me that he was kind of going off on this tour to begin with. Like if I'm traveling the country and there's a dead body found in a car I own, I probably would want to get home and kind of try to figure out what exactly happened.
But we should also say the way this car was discovered, that it was parked up in the Hollywood Hills, and just
left there for 3 days.
And if it's left for more than 3 days, it can be towed as an abandoned vehicle. And that's exactly what happened. It was towed to a police tow yard, and the staff there smelled something rank, opened the trunk, and discovered the body in a bag, body parts in a bag. Now, Teslas are very sophisticated cars.
Right.
And there have got to be pictures, you would think, because there are
the cameras all over it, and we know that the Tesla has a lot of information. There's data that police can get. They'd actually have to subpoena Tesla to get that information. As this investigation is rolling along, that's something that they are going to do if they haven't already.
You could at least see.
I agree. That is a weird thing that he didn't check in on the car again. Maybe he was letting somebody else borrow it, and something happened. But there seems to be a lot of circumstantial evidence, and definitely something that could implicate David. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. And we're going to keep following this too. Amy said he wrote a song about Celeste. So at the time they would have been together, he would have been, depending on when he turned 20, he would have been 18 and Celeste would have been 13. What? That's still kind of crazy. I mean, it's not. He was 17 at the time, Amy. If he was 17 and that was 2 years ago. Okay, so they must have known each other for a while then. Maybe it's not as wild. Being said he was 17 when he met her. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into the age range thing because I get it. They could have who knows the story? They could have went to high school together. It wouldn't have been high school. They could have went to school together and known each other for a long time. I'm not gonna get into that, but sheesh, man. What is going on? He was writing songs about her too. Amy says, he says, "Oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Is that true? I smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed." David professes his love for someone called Celeste in one of his leaked songs. And it's the same name as the 15-year-old girl who was found dead in the Tesla. The track features some pretty interesting lyrics, and there are 2 mentions of Celeste. That's not good. Okay, it was his sister's friend. Yeah. Tay-Tune says, yeah, folks are saying she was 12, 13, and her older sister introduced them. That makes sense. I mean, the age, again, I don't want to spend too much on the age thing because the age gap, considering how old that David was, makes sense. Is it maybe like super young? Sure. But if they were around each other and he had friends and he was friends with the sister's friends, that's a lot of times how things happen. Interesting stuff, man. Thank you to everybody who's in here and all 1,300 of you that liked the video. We're going to be following this story as it continues on because y'all know this isn't the last that we're going to hear about this one. Jeez, man. So sad for that family. we've got another Donna Adelson topic. I know y'all thought we were done with Donna Adelson, but many of you know one of my favorite things to do on this show is to say, I told you so. Or at least say I called it. So we're going to get into something we talked about. Maybe you guys weren't here for the live stream. Maybe you didn't catch the clip. We're going to talk about it here shortly in a second. What's going on with Donna Adelson? And she's asking for another trial. Yep. Saying age ain't nothing but a number is like saying HIV is just 3 letters. Hey, yo. Oh, jeez. I don't think it's anything close to being the same, but I get what you're saying. Shout out to Wednesday. That's a wild statement. Jeez. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all make sure you like the video if you haven't yet. So in an interesting turn of events, it looks like Donna Adelson is asking for another trial. Why she would want to put herself through this and think she's going to have a better chance at getting a not guilty verdict is beyond me. But again, this is probably standard procedure. She's going through the motions, making sure she covers her bases. And we talked about a juror in this case, specifically the jury foreperson. And we went and we watched a lot of her videos that she made on TikTok. We talked about this, and I'm going to actually do a rewind and go back to an instance where we were reviewing the content from the foreperson. And something I said stood out to me from what the foreperson said, specifically about her use of social media. And it's actually going to be mentioned here by Donna Adelson. So shout out to Surviving the Survivor. Here's what they say, and we'll get into this motion here shortly. All right. So Surviving the Survivor says Donna Adelson just filed a motion for new trial and for leave to interview the jurors. What are the grounds? Juror misconduct, verdict against the weight of the evidence, legal errors, and an unfair trial. Come on now. The trial was fair. Seeks to interviews the jurors number 5. Okay. And he appeared on Surviving the Survivor. We're going to get into that video here shortly. And juror number 7, who is the foreperson, alleged TikTok activity during the trial. Guys, I called this out as soon as I heard the foreperson say this. And again, I keep the receipts. Y'all know I keep the receipts, and we call so many things here because we're just regular people observing and using our common sense. And the one thing I said is we heard the foreperson say, oh yeah, during the trial, I was looking at TikTok, but I didn't see anything about this case.
Stop the cap.
I wasn't buying it, and it looks like Donna and her attorneys aren't buying it either. Also, STS is cited in this motion, says that juror number 5 admitted considering Donna's courtroom reactions. The defense calls that extrinsic, not evidence. Also alleges that gallery prejudice, judicial favoritism, and wrongful exclusion of the full 2014 and 2023 planners. Here we go. Defendant's motion for new trial and leave to interview the jurors. This is the state of Florida versus Donna Adelson. Defendant Donna Adelson, by and through her undersigned counsel pursuant to the Florida rules, we're not going to read them all because there's a lot, respectfully requests that this court grant a new trial and in support thereof states as follows. A jury convicted Donna Adelson as charged in the indictment on September 4th of 2025. And shout out to the jury. They got it right. This motion is timely filed within 10 days of the rendition of the verdict pursuant to the rules. We don't care. Donna Adelson requests leave to interview jurors number 5 and 7. Donna Adelson files this motion for a new trial on the following grounds, and we just read them. She's not happy. She thinks the jurors messed up. Motion for leave to interview jurors. In the court's preliminary instructions to the jury, the standard instruction read, you are also not permitted to communicate about the case with anyone, including your spouse, family members, friends, neighbors, and even your fellow jurors. No communication includes no in-person, telephonic, and electronic communication. Now, let's do a little bit of rewind. And this is going to be fun and weird for me because we're going to watch the moment. And this was a weekend, a couple days ago that we called it. We saw what this foreperson was saying. And I said, this might be a problem. Y'all check this out.
Number 2, as far as people's concerns,
Do y'all believe that?
as to me being on social media and posting my TikToks in the last.
Oh, hold on a second. I got it in chipmunk mode. I was watching this super fast, so y'all give me a second. Here we go.
There was no rule stating that we cannot be on social media. The rule is provided by Judge Everett in this case, okay? We cannot seek out information about this case. We cannot talk about the case with anyone. We cannot listen to others talk about the case. We cannot do anything in regard to the case during the trial. But now that I'm released as a juror, I have the freedom to say and do whatever. But also in that regard, I don't watch the news. It's depressing. I haven't watched the news in years. If anything, I'll check my weather app.
That's fair. I don't watch the news
my
either.
little Apple weather app.
News is garbage.
Just to see. My For You page on my TikTok, where I am the most active, is mostly like TikTok shop videos. Like members of like the moms of TikTok community, because that is the content that I typically engage and interact with. I also post that type of content sometimes. Just like trendy, funny, like music videos, whatever else like that.
Here we go. It's interesting to take a second. It's interesting that she's admitting she was scrolling TikTok, because although the TikTok algorithm is different, I mean, depending on what you're looking at and what you're observing, it would be highly likely that something could show up about the Donna Adelson trial. I mean, but I guess if she's not Googling anything about it, if she's not actively searching for it, maybe it wouldn't show up. But y'all know these phones, they're out there listening, they're understanding what's going on, they hear you. I would be interested to see if there's a way they could see her history and what she was actually scrolling through, but we made it through the trial. It doesn't matter at this point. Well, that's where I was wrong. I said we made it through the trial. It doesn't matter at this point. It does matter, because now that I pointed that out and I said it's interesting, she was looking at TikTok on her phone during the trial. She admitted it in 4K for everybody to see. Now Donna Adelson saying, she shouldn't have been doing that. That's not fair. I want to know what was going on. So is it possible, and I want to ask the attorneys in the community, is it possible that her TikTok information, her TikTok history, her TikTok search history could now be subpoenaed because of this motion? If the judge grants this motion, not the motion for a new trial, but if the judge allows some type of discovery, would they be able to look and see if this juror was consuming content about the trial? There might be something there. So now let's fast forward and we'll actually go to this recent interview that STS did with juror number 5. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description for y'all. So if you want to watch the full interview, you can. But this is the moment where Donna Adelson and her camp are saying, she didn't like how he said this, because how Donna reacted in court is not evidence. Now, we all know Judge Everett was not having any of that BS Donna was doing in court. And he reprimanded her multiple times for overreacting and reacting while the verdict was being read, while certain people were on the stand, aka Wendy, and she still didn't listen. So let's see what juror number 5 had to say. Shout out to STS Surviving the Survivor for this interview.
Yeah. Can you ask Sprinkler Man right out of the gates here? We've got Susan from True Lifestyles, who helps us behind the scenes. Can you ask Sprinkler Man if, by the way, we've got to get shirts made that say Sprinkler Man, but can you ask Sprinkler Man if he was looking or staring down Donna or looking at the screen? He looked intent in Donna's direction. Were there moments when you did stare her down, Mitchell?
There certainly were. When Rob was on the stand, when they brought Wendy in, there were certain witnesses that when they brought in, I was focused kind of on her reaction and body language. I really just wanted to see how she reacted to certain things. You know, I know a lot of people don't really want to pay attention to her. They want to pay attention to the witness. I wanted to see how she reacted to the information that was coming out. Not that I could use that against her during deliberations, but, you know, it kind of gave me a sense of where her head was at, I think, during certain testimony.
Yeah.
And shout out to number 5 for saying that, because that's going to be key when the judge is considering this motion. In this interview that they're trying to use as evidence to get a new trial, he said he wanted to see how Donna reacted, if she reacted at all. But he also stated that he wasn't going to use that in any way to sway his decision about Donna's guilt. And that's what a good juror should do. You look at the evidence. You look at the evidence and that's it. Again, I think they did an amazing job with jury selection on this. Amazing job with the trial. Amazing job with the investigation. To be honest, even the witnesses, even the ones we didn't like. I mean, there were a couple witnesses that were absolutely horrible, but for the most part, even Wendy herself, the trial went very smooth. And to see that the jury took things this seriously, even the foreperson took it basically as seriously as anybody else could. I think it's good to see when it comes to this judicial system. So let's keep listening to what he has to say.
And I'm going to hand it off to Joe in just 1 second. But just a final question for now. There's going to be many more. But and I asked Evan this from sort of a 30,000-foot view. What's your biggest takeaway from the nearly 3 weeks of service that you just gave as a juror?
Honestly, the gravity of what was going on around us. I mean, like I said, I knew nothing of this case. So as the information going in, you know, it's I think it was downstairs day one where they come in and they tell us the case that they think it's going to be, kind of as they're vetting us to find out if we're going to make it upstairs. I didn't know what the case was. So as the information was coming out, just again, the gravity of it and to see how many people this crime affected, you know, the innocence that was lost because of this tragedy. That was the big takeaway for me.
So now
shout out to this jury number 5 and 7. I think they did an excellent job. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. Is this a whole lot of nothing when it comes to this motion for a new trial? Donna's just going through the motions at this point. Will it be granted? What will Judge Everett say? And is the fact that the foreperson was actually admittingly scrolling on TikTok going to factor in? Let me know what y'all think. We've got over 1,600 of y'all in the building. Shout out to the gang. Thank you to everyone who's liked the video so far. Again, guys, I don't ask for much on this channel. If you're new, there is one thing that I ask, and that is that you please like the video. It takes less than a second. It's free. And I know y'all are going to have a great time here. We have great conversations, great interactions. And even if you have differing views and opinions, please feel free to share them in the comments in the chat. This is a safe space. All right. Speaking of differing views and opinions, man, it is time to get back into what's going on with this insane Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. Guys, if you thought we were done, it's looking like we are just getting started. So let me go ahead and change this picture up here so y'all know who we're talking about. We got the headline and the topic up here. All right. So okay, we're good. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get into a press conference here shortly about Tyler Robinson and find out some more information about what he was doing leading up to the alleged assassination on his part of Charlie Kirk and what he did after. Later on in another video, in another segment, we're going to be looking at the full indictment. We'll be talking about the text messages, but we do have some breaking news here about what was going on with the alleged assassin and how he's basically handling everything that's going on right now while he's in jail. Here we go.
Here in the U.S., a Utah sheriff is revealing the moments leading up to the surrender of the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk.
We're also learning what Tyler Robinson requested during his negotiation with law enforcement.
Garrett Tenney joins us from Utah Valley University's campus. Garrett, good morning.
Hey, good morning, y'all. We are getting more insights into the mind of Charlie Kirk's alleged killer, who in the span of about 30 hours went from brutally assassinating Charlie and thinking he'd get away with it to fearing that he was going to be shot by police and wanting to take his own life. Last Thursday, after the suspect's parents called him and confronted him about killing Charlie Kirk, he was driving, the sheriff says he was driving to a remote area of southern Utah to end his life. His parents were able to convince him not to do that and said they would help him surrender peacefully. The suspect had some conditions for turning himself in, though, and a family friend who's a former sheriff's deputy helped to negotiate those terms, which the sheriff is now sharing.
He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened.
What did he ask for? Can I ask?
He basically for a peaceful, gentle, comfortable transition for him to come out.
And now I know a lot of you have seen this. You've seen Tyler in this vest looking like he is on suicide watch. It could be because of a lot what was said before. It could be because he indicated that he was wanting to or thinking about harming himself. It could be because it was a part of the deal. And they want to keep him separate. They want to make sure he's good. So they've got to put him. Yeah, it's getting weird, but let's keep it going.
Another condition the suspect had was that plainclothes detectives would be the ones to escort him inside the sheriff's office rather than a SWAT team. So an hour later, that is what happened after his parents and that family friend drove him over. The sheriff described the suspect's demeanor as quiet and somber when he arrived, and during the 2.5 hours that he was there until law enforcement came and picked him up and brought him up to Utah County. As for his parents, the sheriff said they've been advised to lay low for a long time for their own safety, just because of the amount of threats that have been coming into the area for anyone with the same last name. Back to y'all.
Wow. 1 week later, we're still getting the details. Garrett, thanks so much.
Yeah, our Vice President, J.D. Vance, was on with Jesse last night, and he really went into depth about, we know that he was very close with Charlie Kirk, and he owes Charlie Kirk his position as vice president, and said Charlie really rallied that youth vote and the college votes and the young 20s that supported Donald Trump and J.D. Vance to make them win the election in November.
Okay, yeah, we're good on that. We're not really worried about that. Shout out to Charlie Kirk for the work that he did, but we're not focused on the politics in this case. But I do want to go to the actual full press conference from the sheriff's department and see what went on, so we can get the full context. As we're talking about full context a lot these days, instead of just hearing a clip of what the sheriff had to say. Y'all check this out.
So that was part of it. Part of the deal is Tyler knew it was just inevitable with all the law enforcement pressure that his picture in the news, the gun on the news. He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened. So since we weren't the lead agency, basically it was about a 2.5 hour waiting in a room, not communicating with the suspect. Our job was not to interview, our job was just to get him here. So after about 2.5 hours, we ended up getting federal agents and state agents in, and some of my detectives were asked to go out into the community and secure 2 locations, so the parents' home and the apartment that Tyler was living in, along with the vehicle that Tyler was likely driving up at UVU. So that's about it.
Sheriff, how would you characterize that former law enforcement friend of yours as doing something good here?
Yeah, outstanding. He deserves full credit. I think that a lot of it's just the community relations, right? So Tyler's family trusted this individual. They knew he was involved in law enforcement at some point, and enough community involvement there that they trusted that they could go to this individual and he could contact me directly, and that we could facilitate a peaceful, calm, relaxed surrender, put it that way, right? Make him comfortable for a couple hours, make sure he has water. No communication until the lead investigators arrived. So.
Sheriff, you mentioned you got a call from a retired detective. What went through your mind in that moment when he told you what was about to happen? How did you negotiate with Tyler or his family?
So
what were your first impressions when?
So shock, right? So like I said, I couldn't imagine the conversation that occurred in that 1 and 41-second conversation. But there was negotiation. There was some criteria that needed to be met for him to voluntarily come in, and I agreed to those terms.
What did he ask for? Can I ask?
Here we go.
Basically for a peaceful, gentle, comfortable transition for him to come out. Again, he knew he was going to get caught. He didn't want a big SWAT team hitting his parents' house or his apartment. He was truly fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So that the conditions were as relaxed and comfortable and almost to the point of inviting. And if at the end of the day we accomplish him surrendering peacefully on his own, I'm gonna make some concessions to make that happen.
Yeah, and guys, I know a lot of y'all, again, tensions are high right now. All right, tensions are high, and because of everything that's going on, I think we lose focus on what reality is. This happens all the time. And I'm sure y'all have seen it in TVs, you've seen it in movies. It happens in real life. Essentially, what they were worried about is potentially the safety of the other people in the house. You have to factor that in. And then again, If Tyler were in the house, maybe they did know, maybe they didn't know. And he's like, listen, guys, I'll come out and I'll surrender. But I want McDonald's, I want a Big Mac, and I want a fries, and I want to be able to eat it on my way there. Can y'all do that? What are we doing? If that's the situation, as I mentioned in the chat, the police aren't going to say, bro, no, go ahead, do what you got to do. Whatever. We'll close our eyes. No, their job is to arrest you, to bring you in, and go through the judicial process, right? So as many of y'all would say, hey, man, let's just let them do what you got to do, bud. There are negotiations that happen even with criminals, alleged criminals, because we have to remember this. You are innocent until proven guilty. So if this man's saying I did it, they followed him, they found him, and he's saying I'm going to turn myself in, but y'all got to give me some things that I want. If he's asking for McDonald's, they might give him McDonald's.
When you first saw him,
I would describe it as quiet and somber. So not talkative, just no.
It happens all the time. No, it's not about where he's from or who he is.
No church leadership, just an association through the religious.
Is it somebody in the board, LDS board?
Yeah, I would say that, but not in leadership. Unfortunately, the bishop of that ward has been drug into it because of some of the media reporting. But that's not accurate. That's not accurate.
About the bishop.
Yeah, the bishop wasn't involved in this.
But you're not releasing the identity then of the family for him?
No, absolutely not.
Wow.
Speak to it. Did the sheriff's office have any interaction with Tyler Robinson in previous incidents?
I've been asked that a few times, so it's well known, it's in the media. Tyler's apartment was in St. George city limits. The parents' home was in Washington city limits. So since the sheriff's office is primarily patrolling small rural communities, the unincorporated areas of the county, if there were any calls to the residents in St. George City, the highest probability that just St. George City would handle that, not the sheriff's office. So I don't have any data that would support that one way or the other.
Sheriff, have you interviewed his roommate, Robinson's roommate?
No, we're not the lead investigators, so we wouldn't be doing that.
Sheriff, how would you characterize the parents of what you knew that night?
I don't know anything about them.
Were they mentioned in the phone calls?
No.
Sheriff, how do you feel about the fact that this surrender happened as it was in the police office, at the police station? It kind of was peaceful, inviting, as you framed it, and not like a SWAT situation or a big operation that happened in the neighborhood.
Right. That made him comfortable enough. The conditions were satisfactory to him to where he ended up getting a ride with my friend to be dropped off here. We did have some initial discussion internally. So I run the county jail, and we have to think ahead. So what if Tyler ends up staying the night in our facility? What does that look like? Because of the circumstance, he was driven to Utah County that night, I'm going to say maybe about 2 a.m. So that took that weight off us on how we're going to keep him safe in our facility and talking about constant supervision and things like that. But that didn't occur. Yeah, so.
How did you feel about that, having a surrender at the police office versus something else?
Well, obviously it was a big deal, not only national but international. You're seeing people mourning all over the world for Charlie Kirk. And to have that happen, I've had thoughts and heard comments about, this kind of stuff doesn't happen in Utah, Unfortunately it did. But then to have the suspect be a Utah resident who literally went to the same high school I went to. I mean, we're like 30 years apart, but I went to the same high school. He happened to go to the same high school here in Washington County. So it's a double shock factor that one in Utah, and then the suspect happened to be homegrown Washington County boy. So.
What time did he get here?
It was just before 9 p.m.
Sad, man.
Did you put him in handcuffs?
No. Made sure he had water. Made him comfortable sitting on a couch in an interview room. And just sat on him until the lead investigators came in.
So his parents didn't say anything?
No, not again. That was not our place to ask questions.
Yeah, that's irrelevant.
It was just we have you here. We're in a holding pattern until the lead investigators get here. So that wouldn't be in our wheelhouse. We wouldn't even have attempted to interview any of them.
Sheriff, can you provide some more details about this detective, a friend of yours, retired detective? Was he a member of your homicide unit, violent crime?
He was a detective. He was for many years. He was a detective. So in our agency, our detectives, like some cities, you have detectives just working homicides or just working sex offenses. Ours is all encompassing whatever case comes next, and you have the smaller caseload. You're going to get whatever case that is.
How long has he been out of the force?
About 3 years.
Yeah, we ain't worry about that.
Are you the fact that this ended the way it did and not in a violent outcome?
Oh, very, very, very much. Like I said, concessions were made to make that happen. So if, again, peaceful surrender, make him comfortable. He's accused of a horrific crime. So it's kind of odd to be in that, again, accused of a horrific crime, but then we are treating him very civilly, very humanely, and that's just part of the job. We do that on a regular basis. Try to make people comfortable so they're relaxed and not bombard them with negativity or hammer fist or stormtrooper type approach. We wouldn't do that.
Sheriff, how many total phone calls were made between you and the retired detective?
There were several follow-up phone calls that night. One was between my command staff and my friend, just them letting me know, hey, he is in the building. We have him in an interview room, and there's been several follow-ups since then. Just me checking in on him and.
All the way from that first call to say.
And again, guys, we have to remember, we're looking at this from the perspective that we know everything we know, and that so much information has gotten out so quickly, right? Just because this man called the police and said he did it, he called the police and said he won the surrender, he called the police and said, hey, it was me. There was no reason for them to believe him at this point, because this happened shortly after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And then you have this person saying, hey, yeah, it was me. I'll come in and surrender. You're like, all right, have a seat, man. We'll talk to you. You need some coffee. You need some water. Tell me what went on. So they bring him in, have a conversation, and say, oh, okay, well, sounds like you're the guy. Come on back here to cell 15. So again, there's a whole process you have to go to. If you don't catch somebody in the act, if you don't have probable cause, the investigation was still ongoing. The FBI had just gotten there. They were reviewing the surveillance footage. They were going this and this and this and this. And they might not have even known it was him. They most likely wouldn't have known it was him that quickly if he hadn't talked to his boyfriend/girlfriend, if he hadn't talked to his parents, if he hadn't said, all right, you know what? I'm not trying to get shot. Let me go talk to the police. So you have to keep that in mind as well. The police, the local police, they didn't know if it was him or not. So that's a part of this. You have to go through the process. They couldn't just say, oh yeah, you know what? We think it's you. Let's go ahead and take you in.
Hey, we're here, kind of a phone call?
Correct.
No, he wasn't under arrest right away.
Prior to him turning himself in, did you guys have any clue that maybe he was in the Washington area at all?
No, not even a hint. And that was part of the shock factor, right? He could have been anywhere. Most people that are involved or accused of things like that, they want to get out of the area as soon as possible. So the fact that he came home basically was part of the shock factor, I think.
You said he was afraid of being shot. What did he say exactly? How did he express that?
Just that.
Any concern for
just that. Yeah, he was one of his fears of being shot by the police. Period. That's it. That's
your friend that said that,
that my friend conveyed that to me through conversation with Tyler's parents.
Any concern for the family and the roommate's safety if and when they come back to their home in Washington City or in St. George? Any concerns from
No, absolutely. They need to lay low for a long time, unfortunately. So even, I'll throw this out there. I have a second cousin with the last name Robinson. He happens to be an optometrist in town. And his office has been receiving threatening phone calls just because of his last name. So to put somebody in that kind of
come on, y'all.
burdensome situation when they had nothing to do with it, no relation to the family, just think about how the actual individuals involved in this incident are feeling right now.
Yeah, and at some point, a person has to be responsible for their actions, no matter what they've done, what they've been through. At some point, you have to say, okay, I pulled the trigger. I swung first. I went there. I dropped this off. I said that. You can't blame it. It's sad that people are going after this man's family and even people with just the last name Robinson. Y'all know how many Robinsons there are around? Crazy. Either way, breaking news on that one. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. And y'all know we will be following this trial as we get closer to Tyler being on trial as well. Shout out to everybody that's in here. So many of y'all in the building, man. We're moving quick today, I know, but we still got all 1,500 of you up in here. I just need 200 more of you to like the video, and we'll be at 100% likes. I'll still keep asking for likes, but we'll be at 100%. I know, Tay, I've got a ton of stuff to get to, but I'm gonna read some of y'all's comments as well. Y'all are saying, so you just act crazy. Got it. That does tend to work with the VA too, actually. Yeah, listen, I mean, you've seen people who pitch a fit. I want to talk to the manager. Those are the ones that sometimes end up getting what they want, right? So yeah, you act crazy. They might give you what you want. But no, that wasn't even the situation, as you heard from the Washington County's Sheriff's Office. They said they had no idea what was going on. They knew Charlie Kirk was assassinated. They knew there was a guy on the run. But for them to think that the guy was just going to call them and say, oh, yeah, hey, guys, I want to surrender. Just please don't shoot me. And I'll come in and we can handle this how we need to handle it. They're probably like, man, all right, dude, whatever. We're trying. We've got an investigation going on. Just come on. Whatever you want. You want some water? You need some dinner? You want some ice cream? Right, well, let's just get this over with. I'm sure they had no idea that this was actually going to be the person that did it. Yeah, Tatum said we're moving fast today. This guy is sick. I can't even look at his picture. Hey, innocent until proven guilty. What happened, y'all? I taught y'all better than this. Innocent until proven guilty. All right? Come on now. Jeez. And that he later reassembled the rifle before wrapping it in a towel and dishing it. We're going to get into that too. Amy believes this kid is just taking the fall, she says. I don't know what to believe. She believes he is the patsy. Y'all, a lot of you are saying you think that too. Yeah, I don't think he did it, guys. That you wouldn't be the first one. And you won't be the last one to say that too. All right, y'all give me a second. Tay said I'm moving too fast. Give me 1 second. I'm going to play the rest of this clip for you guys, and then we'll be right back.
Placing any deputies at their house, outside their house, anything like that?
So that's not our area of patrol, so the cities would handle that. If that request came in, but I don't have any insight there.
Sheriff, can you describe the handoff that occurred from Tyler Robinson to the authorities that came down from the north?
Yeah, they parked in my parking lot. Oh wait, the lead investigators. So by the time they were in town, Tyler was sitting in an interview room with his parents when they arrived. So they were already in this building when the lead investigators arrived.
And how did that handoff go down? Was he handcuffed?
No, he was sitting on a very comfortable couch with a water bottle in his hand, not restrained. He was again cooperative, somber, quiet.
Sheriff, since then, what has this whole ordeal been like for your county and your office?
I've all of a sudden received a lot of media requests. So that's what's changed in my world.
So the parents were in the room, in the interrogation room.
Correct. That was part of the negotiation to get him here, is that the parents would be with him when he arrived.
Can you explain the last moments? Did they hug? Did the mom cry?
I don't have any detail on that. I'm sorry.
And he was turned over to FBI or state?
It's a joint investigation between the FBI and the state of Utah primarily. Anytime anything this large scale happens, it's all hands on deck. So we're going to need a lot of, just covering the campus and securing the crime scene up north. We've had, active shooter incidents down here recently where every law enforcement wearing every uniform in the county is going to go to those types of scenes.
And just to be clear, he was not handcuffed when he was...
Correct, he was not handcuffed.
Didn't the Sheriff's Department help secure the perimeter?
Office.
Excuse me, thank you. The office, didn't you help secure the perimeter or the...
Yes, so since the lead investigators were 3 hours north of us, it took them a while. So that was again, I describe it as an agency assist. We went and just secured the homes. We didn't search the homes. We didn't communicate with anyone within the homes. It was just, we were just locking things down until they arrived.
That was Thursday night?
Yes.
Thursday night?
Yep.
Is the roommate in protective custody? Or?
I don't have any comment on that.
How would you characterize the interaction?
We're going to get into the roommate a little bit later too.
Tyler in the time that they were sitting here.
Y'all said, CPE said no, guilty until proven innocent. CPE, I'm disappointed in y'all. I taught y'all better than that, man. Oh, man. Tatum said, no, not me. No, not me. What? Forget innocent until proven guilty. He confessed. I'm not going to let y'all bait me into this today. We're not doing the innocent until proven guilty talk. Hey, listen, I'm not doing it. Y'all, I'm not taking the bait. He's a terrified kid that got mixed up with radical leftists, had a trans BF, and wanted to support his BF. Is it BF or GF? Hey, yo. Got talked into taking the fall. Oh, man. I think he did it. I also believe others were involved. The conspiracy theories are going crazy. We don't know. Yeah, I mean, it could be anything. Who knows? People confess all the time. It's not always accurate. Don't get me started. All at 150 yards, it's not a hard shot at all. All right? It's not a hard shot at all, to be honest. With that particular rifle and scope, several experts have confirmed, and even just an average gun enthusiast or gun owner would tell you 150 yards with that gun, it's not a hard shot. I mean, my soon to be 10-year-old might be able to make that shot, to be honest. And if we're going to assume that it was Tyler and that was the shot he was taking, he may have even been aiming for Charlie's head. And the shot was off in the first place. So again, if that's where he was aiming, then it wasn't a hard shot. But he probably wasn't even aiming there. And he was just low into the right on his shot. Did he confess? Amy says. They said he hasn't said anything out of his mouth, just text messages saying it. Hey, yo. We're going to get into it. Lots of people confess that is very true. I doubt he was even the one sending these texts. Oh, man, we're going to get into it. Y'all said biological BS. Hey, yo. We're going to make some people mad. We can't have the trans conversation here. People are going to get upset. Y'all want to talk about gender? Y'all want to talk about gender on the show today? We're going to talk about biology. Man, I'll probably lose about 70,000 subscribers if we do that. Y'all hear about that man that was in jail for murder, 37 years, turns out it wasn't him, but he confessed and DNA ruled him out. Happens a lot. Trans F minus. I think he was mixed up and they told him to do this or else. Yes. 200 yards. Amy says, yep, 150 yards is easy money. Like I said, listen, especially if you're sitting prone, it's not hard to do. I think he was the shooter, but I feel like they set him up to take the fall. Like it was just him when they warped his mind and planted the seeds and pushed him to be the shooter. Anything's possible, man. Amy says, except the gun was said to be old and wouldn't shoot according to the grandfather. Well, what gun did they recover? We're going to see at trial. I mean, if he makes it there. What a thing to say. He is not formally confessing. I'm being objective. Hey, shout out to objectivity. I love it. Yeah, it is an M1 Grand, one of many tools used in World War I. Yep, absolutely. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into our next topic because, again, we still have a lot of content to get into. So this next one, this is going to lead me, and actually, let me double check and make sure that I've got this set up right. Yep, here we go. So what we're going to hear next when it comes to the assassination of Charlie Kirk and Tyler Robinson's alleged involvement, we're going to get into the DA here in Utah County, and he's going to talk about what they learned during this investigation, some of the text messages we're going to talk about a little bit later, and why Tyler possibly could have done this. Was there a motive? Was there not a motive? What's being said? What has he said? Let's hear from the DA himself. Here we go.
The murder of Charlie Kirk is an American tragedy. Charlie Kirk was murdered while engaging in one of our most sacred and cherished American rights, the bedrock of our democratic republic, the free exchange of ideas in a search for truth, understanding, and a more perfect union. It is also an offense against the state and to the peace and enjoyment of the people of Utah and of all those who visit here. But Charlie Kirk's murder also strikes a more personal and intimate chord. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a father to two beautiful young children.
Yes.
He was a son, he was a brother, and a friend. Like all murders, the senseless and needless taking of Charlie Kirk's life has shattered the lives of those he loved and those who loved him. To Charlie's wife, Erica, his 2 young children, his parents, his family, and his friends, I express my sincere condolences and offer my heartfelt prayers on your behalf. I also want to express my concern for everyone who was at Charlie's Turning Point USA event at the Utah Valley University, and all who have been impacted by this tragedy. As county attorney, I am charged with bringing justice to those who offend our laws. I am charged with bringing justice for those who are harmed. I am charged with bringing justice for Charlie Kirk. I am committed to these aims. I take this responsibility seriously.
We know, District Attorney.
Today,
Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Lord.
Law enforcement has collected thus far. I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense, for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony.
Because he ran.
For moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression.
Dang, I didn't even think about the kids. I'm usually the one that's in here saying, y'all think about the kids. That's tough. That's tough. And I mean, there's kids that are going to see it online too and wonder what happened. But this is, man.
Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty.
Oh.
I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page information, these are the allegations. On September 10th, 2025, at approximately 12:23 p.m., Charlie Kirk was shot and killed while speaking to a large crowd on the campus of Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Police found the suspected murder weapon, a bolt-action .30-06 rifle, nearby. Over the next approximately 33 hours, police conducted a manhunt for the shooter until the evening of September 11th, 2025, when Tyler James Robinson surrendered to police at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. DNA consistent with Robinson was found on the rifle's trigger. After shooting Mr. Kirk, Robinson hid the gun, discarded the clothing he wore when he fired the rifle, and told his roommate to delete incriminating text messages and not talk to police. Children were present at the time of the shooting. The shooting. Turning Point USA, a nonprofit organization founded in 2012 by Charlie Kirk, organized a public outdoor event to be held at noon on September 10th, 2025 at UVU. The event was the first in a series of similar events to be held at college campuses nationwide. Mr. Kirk is a well-known conservative activist, famous for these type of events where he discusses various political issues and debates with audience members. His events and comments have garnered a significant number of supporters and drawn the ire of many who disagree with his political views. The event at UVU was announced far in advance and garnered significant publicity and interest. Consequently, several hundred people attended. Mr. Kirk was interacting with the crowd before the event officially got underway. Then, at approximately noon, Mr. Kirk seated himself under a portable canopy behind a table and microphone. He began speaking to the crowd and fielding questions from attendees, a format Mr. Kirk commonly used at his events. Mr. Kirk allowed his questioners to approach a microphone positioned directly in front of him. Mr. Kirk's team members were very close to him on his right and left, as well as some behind his canopy and others at various close locations near him. The large crowd surrounded Mr. Kirk on three sides. Temporary metal fencing separated attendees from Mr. Kirk by only a matter of feet. Directly above and behind Mr. Kirk was the UVU Hall of Flags, an indoor walkway spanning several hundred feet with floor-to-ceiling glass windows which overlooked the plaza where Mr. Kirk was seated. People were in the walkway at the time of the shooting. Approximately 15 minutes into the event, Mr. Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings by transgender individuals when a gunshot rang out.
Which is wild.
The bullet struck Mr. Kirk in the neck. He slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several other individuals beside Mr. Kirk, including the questioner who was standing directly in front of Mr. Kirk. Children were visible near Mr. Kirk's stage when he was shot.
Yeah,
Mr. Kirk
sad.
was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was declared deceased. The medical examiner's report is still pending.
I'll be interested to see that
surveillance.
for sure.
So at the moment of the shot, a UVU police officer was watching the crowd from an elevated vantage point. As soon as he heard the shot, he began to scan the area for threats. Believing the shot came from a rifle because of its sound, he looked for potential sniper positions. He noted a roof area approximately 160 yards away
Police
from
officer saw.
Mr. Kirk as a potential shooting position and rushed there to look for evidence. The suspected shooting position is adjacent to an open, publicly accessible walkway. To access the suspected location, a person must climb over a railing and then drop to the roof only slightly below. The UV officer climbed over the railing and down onto the roof. He then walked to the suspected shooting position and confirmed a clear shooting corridor between the position and Mr. Kirk's seat. He also noticed markings in the gravel rooftop, consistent with a sniper having lain on the roof, impressions in the gravel potentially left by the elbows, knees, and feet of a person in a prone shooting position.
Mm-hmm.
Police reviewed surveillance from the camera covering the roof
there.
and discovered that it recorded an individual dressed in dark clothing cross the railing from the public walkway and drop onto the roof at approximately 12:15 p.m. Although the individual moved out of the camera's view for a short time, the camera again captured the individual running across the roof and then low crawling to the area the UVU officer recognized as where the suspected sniper had dropped into a prone shooting position. After a short time, which matches the known time of the shot, the individual arose and ran across the roof to the northeast. This discovery led to an intensive review of UVU surveillance recordings to attempt to track and identify the suspect. Surveillance revealed the following. At approximately 11:51 a.m., the suspect entered campus from the north. He is seen wearing a black shirt with an American flag in the center, a dark baseball cap, and large sunglasses.
And we've seen some of this video
Throughout
here.
the surveillance, the suspect keeps his head down and rarely raises his head enough to get a clear image of his face. As he proceeds across the campus, he is seen walking with an unusual gait. The suspect walks with very little bending in his right leg,
Yeah, I want to see the
consistent with a
surveillance
rifle
too.
being hidden in his pants. This unusual gait continues until the suspect is seen crossing the railway off the open walkway and onto the roof, where he leaves the camera's view. A camera later captures the suspect as he runs across the roof to the suspected shooting position. Immediately after the shot was fired, A camera captures the suspect running across the roof carrying an item whose shape is consistent with a rifle. The suspect is then seen climbing down from the roof. He appears to drop the item he was carrying as he hits the ground in a controlled fall. He then picks up the item and runs toward the northeast end of campus. Expanded crime scene investigation.
Crazy.
Law enforcement officers followed the suspect's escape path to the northeast end of campus, where they believe the suspect left campus and entered a wooded area. In that wooded area, investigators found a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel. The rifle contained 1 spent round and 3 unspent rounds. This is consistent with the facts officers observed at the time of and immediately after the shootings. No shell casings were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt action rather than an auto-loading weapon, and only a single round was fired. Each round in the rifle contained an etched inscription as follows. The
Here
fire
are the inscriptions on the bullets.
Was etched, "No Tice's bulge, OWO, what's this?" The second cartridge that was again not spent, the last 3 were not spent, were not fired. The second, "Hey fascist, catch," with arrow symbols. The third cartridge, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow."
I don't know what
the
that
fourth
means.
Cartridge, "If you read this, you are gay," LMAO. The rifle, ammunition rounds, and towel were sent for forensic processing. DNA consistent with defendant was found on the trigger, other parts of the rifle, the fired cartridge casing, 2 of the 3 unfired cartridges, and the towel.
That doesn't mean much to me. I'm gonna be honest. Because if all this stuff came from his house, then obviously it's gonna have his DNA on it, right? We'll see at trial.
Law enforcement was unable to immediately locate the shooter, so they published photos of the shooter from the UVU surveillance cameras and asked for the public's help to identify him. Meanwhile, law enforcement continued to try to identify the shooter through other means. The Washington County investigation. On the evening of September 11th, 2025, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to the Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in. Robinson's mother stated that the following to police. On September 11th, 2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son.
Dang.
Robinson's mother called her son.
A mother would know.
And asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed.
Dang.
Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson...
Hey, before we finish with this, what's the over-under on Tyler's parents knowing about his boyfriend/girlfriend? I'm going to say they had no idea about him and his roommate. It was his roommate.
Discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet
That's why he's
at their
on
home.
deletion watch.
As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it.
Wow.
When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who is a retired deputy sheriff. At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and convinced Robinson to turn himself in. The family friend spoke to police and reported telling Robinson that it would be best if he brought all evidence with him to the sheriff's office to avoid police having to search his parents' home.
Jeez.
The friend also asked Robinson if he had any clothes that were related to what he did. Robinson replied that he had disposed of the clothes in different areas. The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange, then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Rob,
if he said he was sorry to involve you, then why would he leave a note under his keyboard?
Robinson, I'm sorry. Roommate, "I thought they caught the person." Robinson, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence."
Also, we're going to get into what a lot is being said about the text messages and how it sounds and how it reads. If this was really Tyler texting with his roommate, if you text someone often, you can tell if they're acting different, saying something different, if what they're texting you isn't maybe them. And if it's true that Tyler normally didn't talk like that, or this isn't how people texted, or that's how they text, you think, again, one of the first messages that would have been sent was, "Why are you talking like this? This is weird. Who is this? Did someone take Tyler's phone? Are you pranking me? What's going on?" Again, this all just seems really strange.
Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it." Robinson again, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK if it's had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The F in messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke, all right. I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine, IDK. I think that was a $2K dollar scope. Wink, wink. Robinson again, delete this exchange. Again, Robinson, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me, RN, not answering. Robinson, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Again, you are all I worry about, love. That came from Robinson. Roommate, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. The search for Robinson.
Again, why are they texting this? I don't know. I don't understand. Why are you going to put this in a text message? I don't know. Maybe they just weren't thinking about it. Why wouldn't you have the roommate say, just call me? Call me right now. Call me. What's going on? This doesn't make sense.
Residence. Police executed a search warrant on Robinson's residence. During that search,
it doesn't
police
make sense,
discovered
guys.
a shell casing with etchings
man.
like the etchings found on the shells in the rifle near UVU. Police also found several target boards with bullet holes in Robinson's home. Now, as I stated in the beginning, when I read those allegations, these are allegations. And like the evidence set forth in this statement, those allegations, what you've heard from the media, even from state and federal officials, has not been tested in the crucible of a jury trial.
That's true.
I understand the public's desire to know the facts. My own family members have pressed me for information. Why are we reluctant to share the details of the investigation itself?
Because it's
and
ongoing.
Comment on the case. Because I want to ensure a fair and impartial trial.
No.
I became a prosecutor because of my love for the ideals of this great country and the principles embedded in our Constitution.
No. This is on national news. A guy was shot in front of thousands of people. It's shown on the political side, shown on the non-political side. A fair trial? Are you kidding me? No. The public deserves to know and have the information. District Attorney, let us know what's going on. Now, if you were to say, oh, it's because the investigation's ongoing, fine. But saying it's because you want to have a fair trial, let's not do that. It's somewhat disingenuous.
The free exchange of ideas and opinions is critical to this great American experiment, but so too are the protections afforded to the accused found in the 5th and 6th Amendments. The right against—
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying, hey, everybody that's in Utah County, can you guys please just don't watch the TV? Don't be on social media until Tyler his trial is over, or at least until jury selection is done. So can y'all just not read the newspaper? Just don't watch any of the videos, the thousands of videos on X. Don't watch them on YouTube. Like, can you just stay off of social media? All of Utah County, please. Because we just want to have a fair trial. Come on, man.
Against self-incrimination, the right to a speedy and public trial, the right to the effective assistance of counsel, the right to confront one's accusers, and the right to compel the attendance of witnesses. And perhaps most importantly, under our Constitution, the accused is presumed innocent until we, the state, prove to an impartial jury of defendant's peers his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That jury cannot rely on our allegations, on what they hear in the news, or on what they hear from a public official. The jury is the sole trier of fact, and they will ultimately determine those facts based on evidence a trial judge has determined is admissible. Again, as prosecutors, we bear the burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. But make no mistake, we welcome this burden. I'd like to now introduce my trial team who will be charged with prosecuting the case. This is a veteran and expert team of some of the state's best trial attorneys. Chad Grunander,
yeah, we'll see,
who is one of my 2 chief deputies, Ryan McBride and David Sturgill on the far right there. And those 2 were very much involved in preparing search warrants, did a phenomenal job, worked day and night to see that accomplished well after he was, Robinson was taken into custody.
Now you're looking at 5 people who are about to take a walk in the park. This is gonna be the easiest trial they've ever done. I mean, can I join the team? Dang, I'll help y'all out.
Also, Lauren Hunt, she is one of our special victims prosecutors, and Chris Ballard, my 2nd chief deputy, who will be handling motions. I'm going to explain just the procedural steps. We're not a grand jury. We don't have a grand jury system like the federal courts do. It's a preliminary hearing system. So the arrest and filing of the criminal information are merely the first steps in the criminal justice process.
Right.
Today at 3 p.m., the defendant will appear before a judge in the Utah 4th District Court for his first appearance to be informed of these charges and to ensure that he has an attorney to represent him. The hearing will be brief.
Able to find jurors.
The judge will conduct that first appearance virtually via WebEx. This is not unusual. In the 4th District, all felony first appearances for defendants who are in custody are held virtually. A link to that hearing is available for media on the Utah State Courts X account at Utah State Courts. Now, following defendant's first appearance, he will be entitled to a preliminary hearing. At that hearing, the state will be required to show probable cause that defendant committed the crimes. The purpose of the preliminary hearing is not to determine guilt, but simply to assure the court that the prosecution has enough evidence to proceed to trial.
And speaking of the jury, I'm going to be honest with you guys. What I know of Utah, and some of the folks in the chat who are from Utah and have family and friends from Utah, I believe will back this up. If I were Tyler Robinson and I were his legal team, I would not be worried about, as someone said in the chat, having an impartial jury. The thing I would be worried about is that he committed this crime in Utah. It's because the jurors, they're going to hear about Tyler's involvement with his roommate. They're going to hear about Tyler's disdain for not only Charlie Kirk, but his disdain for the message, his disdain for the beliefs. And I mean, that alone, for the majority of the people, maybe not in Utah County, but in Utah in general, they're gonna be like, hey, what were you doing, buddy? We got to get you out of here.
If a judge finds probable cause and binds the case over for trial, an arraignment hearing will be held. At that hearing, a judge will again inform defendant of the charges against him and require him to enter a plea to each charge. The next step following the arraignment is an opportunity for the parties to file any relevant motions and then ultimately the trial itself. This case has generated a tremendous amount of interest across our nation and even the world. The public's desire for information is understandable, but it bears reiterating that this case will be tried in a court of law consistent with our Constitution, not the court of public opinion. Thus, we will only discuss the case with the press occasionally. It will not be a day-to-day or even week-to-week occurrence, but we will only do so in a manner as not to jeopardize the fair trial process. Before I conclude, I want to express my appreciation for the tireless work of our local, state, and federal law enforcement officers. They have an extremely difficult, dangerous, and often thankless job. I'm proud to acknowledge the exceptional work they do every day, and particularly their work on this case. It was truly a marvel to witness. Their skilled work and dedication have brought us to this point. I'm also grateful for the leadership demonstrated by Bo Mason, the Commissioner of the Utah Department of Public Safety, FBI Special Agent in Charge Rob Bowles, Utah County Sheriff Mike Smith, our local police chiefs, and Felice John Vitti, the acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Utah. I'm also grateful for the support of our Governor, Spencer Cox, and our Attorney General, Derek Brown, who is standing behind me today and has offered his support and resources as we proceed to trial. Finally, I want to thank our Utah County Commissioners, Amelia Powers Gardner, Brandon Gordon, and Skylar Beltran. They too have pledged to assist with the resources needed to successfully prosecute this case. I will now take
They're going to be just fine.
For questions, ladies and gentlemen, just really fast, if you could identify yourself and what organization. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. They are still looking.
That's a great question.
Undergoing investigation. They haven't ruled that out.
So they're asking about the timeline of the text messages between Tyler and his roommate.
I don't have that information. I talked to officials from both administrations, but I was not pressured to make a decision. I understood their feelings on it because it was in the news, but we didn't really discuss that.
Mr. Gray, Gary Tenney with Fox News. Do you have any indication that transgender issues played a role in the motivations for this shooter?
Oh, motive. Yeah, let's talk about motive.
To what I just stated in my public, in our information. I think that is pretty much set forth there.
Mr. Gray, Ben Winslow, Fox 13 News. Just asking, are you planning to file additional charges against anyone else in connection with this?
Again, we don't have any information at this point.
I would be surprised.
Suspects, but I know that our law enforcement agencies are continuing to follow leads.
Mr. Gray, the FBI director today said that you are, quote, or that other people, a number of people are being investigated and interrogated. So it seems that there are people who might be up for prosecution.
Yeah, I'm not.
Was it lone wolf, or could this be part of
I can't comment on that. I'm not aware of all their investigation. I just know that
the FBI is
these
still
agencies
working.
are continuing to investigate this case and follow all leads.
BBC News. Would like to know, how does this possibly interface with any federal charges?
That's up to the feds. They have different charges, and they're reviewing the evidence. And after they review the evidence and the law, they could file charges, but I'm not privy to exactly what they're looking at.
I'll be surprised if there's federal charges.
The governor previously said the roommate is cooperating, but could we see charges against the roommate?
Again, I'm not prepared to answer that question.
I can't imagine what the roommate would be charged with. Unless the roommate said, yeah, just go hide out at your dad's house. I don't know.
It's part of our code, and so we charge that.
For those that aren't of a legal mind, is this a confession to text messages? Is that legally a confession? And is he cooperating?
No.
Ultimately, a judge will determine that at trial.
And cooperation, has he spoken it up? Has he been cooperating?
Again, I'm not going to comment on that.
And Governor Cox spoke out that Tyler Robinson is not cooperating. Tyler Robinson's not saying anything. He said, bring my food, make sure I don't hurt myself, and leave me alone.
Okay. I am not aware of that information. It's, again, still under investigation.
That's an FBI thing.
I am not going to comment on that. I am not going to comment on that. Well, as attorneys, we typically like to control that information to preserve an impartial jury and a fair trial. Excuse me? I don't have that information.
Can you tell us more about what the family may have said in interviews?
What
I believe
the family
Tyler's
said is
22.
What I provided.
Do you anticipate that the defense will try to get this trial moved out of Utah County, and how will you respond to that?
That from where?
From Utah County.
That the defense will be from Utah County?
That they will try to get the trial moved.
No.
I couldn't predict what they're going to do.
Tyler's 22.
That will be for a jury to decide.
Did the jury comment that the roommate had no part of this attack whatsoever?
Again, I'm not going to comment on the evidence.
But the evidence so far, did you show any involvement?
Again, I'm not going to comment on other than the facts that or the evidence that we've gathered so far. I don't believe so. This is part of a public document that we have to file as we file a criminal information. We have to file a probable cause statement. That's a public document, and so we're comfortable with that.
Are his parents and the roommate still cooperating?
I'm not going to comment on that either.
The honest said that the suspect had a hatred of Kirk. What else can you share about that?
I can't share any more than what I've already said.
No, they're not going to.
A precise shot. Do you have any
They're not going to charge the parents.
places to practice or have practiced movements before the shooting that's giving you insight into how he prepared?
The evidence that I'm willing to share is what I just read in our statement, and it's in the
Ladies and gentlemen,
information.
I'm afraid we're going to have to cut it off there.
Okay.
Let's see if they gets this last question in.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Okay, thank you, ladies.
All right, so that is it, man. Tyler is looking like he's facing some nice charges. We're going to get into the actual full indictment shortly. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. A lot of questions unanswered, a lot of moving pieces. Are they going to be able to point to other people being involved? I think is the interesting part of this. That's when, in my opinion, the feds will most likely step in if it shows that somebody else was involved in this. Somebody else directly encouraged Tyler to do this since he was going to be in the area. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know what y'all think in the comments in the chat. We've got over 1,600 of y'all in here, and thank you to everyone for liking the video. Y'all are amazing, man. And let me see. So the question I asked, just out of interest, is did Tyler's parents know he was dating his roommate? 63% of y'all say no. 37% of you say yeah. I think they were surprised with a lot of what was going on. And according to what the district attorney said, the parents were noticing and realizing that Tyler was starting to have more left-leaning views, which may have led to this happening. Sure, we'll hear more information as the investigation goes along. I think Kash Patel's probably going to stay out of it for now. He's got his own stuff he's dealing with. We'll have to wait and see. The parents in Michigan was a completely different scenario, and their child was underage. This man here is 22-year-old legal adult, completely different all around. Yeah, actually, y'all give me 1 second here. We're going to get into the next segment here shortly. Let me rewind this back to this section. So I want to see what he said about these charges. Give me a second.
Minutes into the event, Mr. Kirk was answering a question about mass shootings by transgender individuals when a gunshot rang out. The bullet struck Mr. Kirk in the neck. He slumped to the ground almost immediately. The bullet's trajectory passed closely to several other individuals beside Mr. Kirk, including the questioner who was standing directly in front of Mr. Kirk. Children were visible near Mr. Kirk's stage when he was shot. Mr. Kirk was rushed to a nearby hospital where he was declared deceased. The medical examiner's report is still pending. So UVU surveillance. So at the moment of the shot, a UVU police officer was watching the crowd from an elevated vantage point. As soon as he heard the shot, he began to scan the area for threats. Believing the shot came from a rifle because of its sound, he looked for potential sniper positions. He noted a roof area approximately 160 yards away from Mr. Kirk as a potential shooting position and rushed there to look for evidence. The suspected shooting position is adjacent to an open, publicly accessible walkway. To access the suspected location, a person must climb over a railing and then drop to the roof only slightly below. The UV officer climbed over the railing and down onto the roof. He then walked to the suspected shooting position and confirmed a clear shooting corridor between the position and Mr. Kirk's seat. He also noticed markings in the gravel rooftop, consistent with a sniper having lain on the roof, impressions in the gravel potentially left by the elbows, knees, and feet of a person in a prone shooting position. Police reviewed surveillance from the camera covering, the roof and discovered that it recorded an individual dressed in dark clothing cross the railing from the public walkway and drop onto the roof at approximately 12:15 p.m.
Let me see what y'all are saying.
Although the individual moved out of the camera's view for a short time, the camera again captured the individual running across the roof and then low crawling to the area the UBU officer recognized as where the...
And you said they're conservative and Christian parents. They may have suspected, but I don't think they confirmed. Yep. Why would we charge the parents for what a grown man did? Make it make sense. And I don't think they were in on it either. So no. Had to make sure. Oh, he was grown. Yeah, he was grown. About to graduate, probably. I'm trying to think where I want to go next with this. Let's see, because there was a couple things I had to get into here. Oh, there's just so much to cover. Let me think of how I want to do this. I think actually we'll probably go ahead and get into this indictment. And we'll actually see and look at, where is he? Tyler actually showing up in court. And we're going to get into the charges here as well. Let me make sure we're good. And I want to talk about these text messages with y'all too. So let me make sure we're good. Again, thank you to everybody that's liked the video so far. 1,800 of y'all liked the video. We got 1,600 in here. If you haven't yet, like the video. And again, to everyone that's just joining us, I know we've got a lot of new people in here. This is a safe space to share your differing opinion. You ain't gonna get cussed out. We're gonna be respectful. And even if we have differing views, you guys, please make sure you share that. I think it makes for a great conversation. And I don't want to be in an echo chamber here. I don't want a bunch of people who are just saying the same thing. But it makes for bad content, honestly, and it doesn't help move the conversation forward. So please, if you have a differing view, make sure you share that in the comments and in the chat. Just be respectful. That's all we ask. All right. Shout out to Kara's in the building. What's up, Kara? None of the surveillance showed the shooter running with a rifle or shooting it. Videos caught him running across the roof after, but nothing of him firing. Yeah, it's a lot. We're gonna get into it. All right, so now that the district attorney has come out and given us more information about this indictment against Tyler Robinson, who is the alleged shooter in this Charlie Kirk assassination, we're going to get into Tyler Robinson's first hearing that just happened. Now, we're going to hear a lot of information from the judge. We're going to find out that it seems like Tyler does not have any legal counsel yet. And y'all see him wearing this vest. Many of you know what that means. He's under a certain watch. I'm not going to say what that is here on YouTube, but they're worried about his safety and him potentially harming himself. So let's get into this full hearing, and then we'll talk about the indictment here shortly. Let's go. Shout out to Judge
Mr. Robinson, for count 1, aggravated murder, a capital felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-5-202, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, intentionally or knowingly caused the death of Charlie Kirk under the following circumstances. The defendant knowingly created a great risk of death to another individual other than Charlie Kirk and the defendant. Notice conviction of this offense may carry the death penalty or pursuant to Utah Code 76-3-207.7, a mandatory term of imprisonment for life without parole or an indeterminate term of not less than 25 years, and that may be for life. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice, if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child aggravating factor, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider as an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent criminal offense in the presence of a child. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 11-210 sub 2 and 3C, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson discharged a firearm in the direction of Charlie Kirk, knowing or having reason to believe that Charlie Kirk may be endangered by the discharge of the firearm, and that the act caused serious bodily injury to Charlie Kirk. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2. Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. Notice, if the trier of fact finds beyond a reasonable doubt that the victim targeting enhancement applies, the sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider the defendant's selection of the victim as an aggravating factor. Violent offense committed in the presence of a child, aggravating factor. The sentencing judge or the Board of Pardons and Parole shall consider an aggravating factor in their deliberations that the defendant committed a violent offense in the presence of a child. Count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant Tyler James Robinson, with intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or pursuant to any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, conceal or remove the firearm used to shoot Charlie Kirk, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or a first-degree felony. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony in violation of Utah Code 76-8-306 sub 2, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, with an intent to hinder, delay, or prevent the investigation, apprehension, prosecution, conviction, or punishment of any person regarding conduct that constitutes a criminal offense, destroyed, concealed, or removed the clothing he wore during the shooting, and the conduct that constitutes an offense would be a capital felony or first-degree felony. Count 5, tampering with a witness, a third-degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony, information, a document, or an item to wit, directing his roommate to delete incriminating text messages. Count 6, tampering with a witness, a third.
Ooh, I just thought about this, guys. Oh, the roommate could get charged. Oh man, I just thought about this. If what happened and Tyler told his roommate / significant other that, hey, I did this is crazy, stuff is going down, make sure you delete these messages, and the roommate did delete messages, that's going to be an issue. That might be a felony charge. Dang. I just thought about that. I wonder, they might leave their roommate alone, or dang, that sucks.
Degree felony in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-8-508, in that on or about September 11th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, believed that an official proceeding or investigation was pending or about to be instituted or intended to prevent an official proceeding or investigation, and attempted to induce or otherwise cause his roommate to withhold testimony or information, to wit, directing his roommate to stay silent if the police questioned the roommate. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.10 sub 2 and 76-3-203.14 sub 3A little double I, in that on or about September 10th, 2025 in Utah County, the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, committed criminal homicide in the physical presence of a child younger than 14 years of age, with knowledge that a child was present and that may have been seen or heard the commission of the criminal homicide. Victim targeting enhancement in violation of Utah Code annotated 76-3-203.14 sub 2, Tyler James Robinson intentionally selected Charlie Kirk because of Tyler James Robinson's belief or perception regarding Charlie Kirk's political expression. That concludes reading of the information. Mr. Robinson, this case is set for September 29th at 10 a.m. It will be a waiver hearing, and I will be the judge assigned to this case. Mr. Robinson, I invite you to join us at that time. Is there anything further, counsel?
No, Your Honor, we'll have counsel appointed by then. Thank you.
Mr. Gurander, anything further?
One item, just for clarification, Your Honor, the hearing on the 29th, is that in person or WebEx?
Thank you. That is a great question. It will be via WebEx.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. I want to thank all parties for being here, and this concludes this hearing at this time. Court is in recess.
All right. So that is it for the hearing for Tyler Robinson. Let's actually look at this now. We've got the full indictment here. We're not going to go through the charges again, but I will read them one by one just so we remember what was going on here. And we've got aggravated murder, obviously. We've got victim targeting enhancement. We've got count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, obviously. Count 3, obstruction of justice for the gun, for hiding the gun, allegedly. Count 4, obstruction of justice. Count 5, tampering with a witness. Count 6, tampering with a witness. Count 7, violent offense committed in the presence of a child. There were children at the event. If he's found guilty of this, you got to find them guilty of all of it. And then they have the probable cause statement. And here's everything that happened. We know what happened. We saw the videos. This is what they're alleging. We heard it from the DA, and we also heard it from Judge Graff. Let's get into these text messages, because this is something that's somewhat of a point of contention. A lot of people are saying they don't believe it. A lot of people are saying that it didn't sound normal and that there's some information missing. So there's no timestamps on this. This was all submitted by whoever investigated it. I don't know if it's the FBI or local law enforcement, but let's see what this says. The police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male, which is hilarious that they put that in there. Like, why they have to say it like that? Who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting and provided those messages to the police. So it looks like, shout out to the roommate, didn't delete the messages. Smart. Because just one swipe left and you hit the delete button, could be looking at a felony, which is insane. The roommate told the police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting and provided those messages to the police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson, which said, "Drop what you were doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Tyler said, "I'm still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this a secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you." "You weren't the one who did it, right?" says the roommate. "I am. I'm sorry." Oh. Is that a confession? Who knows? "I thought they caught the person." "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Why? Why did I do it? Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning this? So the roommate clearly didn't know what was going on. Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept the spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back, and I don't know what these dots are for. It looks like they were maybe having a conversation about something else, so there's a break in the conversation here. And it says, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. I don't know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about my prints. I had to leave it in the bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? Oh no. Again, the roommate's going to have some explaining to do because this part right here ain't great for the roommate. You remember when I was engraving those bullets, right? So that means the roommate knew something was going on, according to the text messages. The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notice bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think it had a 2K scope. And then he says there's some time that elapsed here. And he says, delete this exchange. Exchange? It's a weird thing for a 22-year-old to say. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it is very unique. He's calling me right now. I'm not answering. They were sweating. This is probably the point where his mom was like, hey, that looks like Tyler. And the dad was like, ah, man, it does look like Tyler. Wait, they're saying there's a gun? Oh, man, that looks like Grandpa's gun that I gifted to him. Let me call him real quick and see what's going on. And then Tyler says, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. And then Robinson says, you are all I worry about. I'm much more worried about. And then the roommate says, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson said, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Dang. All right. So the question I should have asked y'all is the roommate going to be implicated somehow? Because I think this is going to be an issue. Remember how I was engraving the bullets? That's going to be a problem. And the roommate's going to be questioned about that. I don't know if it'll lead to any charges, but it seems like a lot of people around Tyler knew something was going on. And they saw a change. His mother was saying, I saw a change in his behavior when we were at events and talking with family. I could hear more left-leaning conversations coming from him. The roommate obviously noticed that he was etching things on bullets, on shell casings, which isn't normal, according to this. We'll have to wait and see how the evidence plays out. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments and in the chat. Interesting stuff. Not till after the trial. Yep, we'll make a decision then. I like it. That's definitely going to be an issue. Someone sitting around engraving bullets and you're not like, hey, man, what you doing? What's up? What's that bullet say? Okay, interesting. Why are you writing that? Don't worry about it. I'm bored. Also, it's weird that the roommate wouldn't put two and two together if he saw Tyler etching those things on the... I don't know, man. This is crazy. Oh, we are definitely going to check out this trial for sure. 22 years, don't talk, 22-year-olds don't talk like that. Cops and boomer talk. Here's the thing, guys. You're talking about, you all are implicating the FBI. Okay, if the FBI somehow, let's say, they cloned Tyler's phone, right? They snatched his phone, and then they did this whole thing to where somebody from the FBI was texting Tyler's roommate, and they were having this back and forth. There's a couple things I have to point out. One, don't you think this exchange by Tyler's roommate would seem strange to Tyler's roommate? Two, wouldn't Tyler's roommate want to call and just be like, call me, what's going on? Three, this is the FBI. You don't think they have better resources than ChatGPT to text Tyler's roommate? I mean, they could literally, even with ChatGPT, you could probably, if you took, let's say, the last week's worth of your text messages, you put screenshots of that into ChatGPT and you said, hey, ChatGPT, do me a favor. I want you to text for me for the next 3 conversations. ChatGPT says, okay, what did the person say? Hey, they said this. What would I say? ChatGPT could come up with some responses that would probably scare you and make you be like, oh man, that's something I would say. So with that being, with just pointing out those factors, I think the theory about this not being Tyler, it's hard for me personally to believe. Because why go through all of this trouble to clone his phone, to send text messages for him and not make it believable? And why didn't the roommate think it was suspicious? Like, if somebody texted me right now close to me and is like, hey, yeah, you remember hearing on the news about that stand at the farmer's market that got robbed and someone just stole all the oranges? Yeah, that was me. I would be like, man, who is this? Is this a joke? I'm about to call you. They say, no, don't call. You can't call. I'd be like, all right, stop playing. When you're done playing, just give me a call. I wouldn't believe it at all. So there's a lot about this that I think has some weight to it. Again, the defense is going to need to get their hands on the entirety of this text exchange, because I want to see what was going on, what time this took place, what they had said before leading up to this. A lot of information that we're missing. One of the situations where you get cool with the quiet kid, always be nice to the quiet kid, man. Dang, it seems scripted, staged, but either Tyler and the BF or BF and Discord people, either the roommate's gullible or they got his phone. It's all possible. I'm just saying, if you're going to go through that much trouble, why not make it believable? So we're not sitting here questioning it. No, I'm not. I'm thinking the BF was manipulating Tyler by either planning this out before or something like that. Oh my goodness. And I'm sure the FBI is sus about it too. Wow. Yeah, this is wild. It could be anything. Who knows? It seems scripted, staged. Yep. Too much for my brain right now. Yeah, I'm with you. Thank y'all, man. Shout out to the gang. Big thank you to everybody who contributed and went the extra mile to support, not only by liking the video, not only by sharing, but also sending in super chats. Shout out to Les Cleaver, the big dog, J Money in the building, Slim Life, CPE, Kelly Berg, Kara Hampton, and also Kitty Cat. Shout out to Kitty Cat. I didn't see that one. It says, been with y'all for a minute. Love my classy chat fam. Hit a... Oh, okay. I know what you want me to do.
These niggas lacking.
Hit a These Ninjas Lacking for my 5-month B-Day, please. Shout out to Kitty Cat. I got you in here. We're going to get out of here. We're going to have a very eventful show tomorrow. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. I'll be dropping clips from today's show and extra videos as we go throughout the afternoon and into tomorrow morning. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Like the video on your way out if you haven't yet. And as always, y'all know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace. Y'all have a great day.